Up next, we have BrainLock from Alexandria, Egypt, Alexandria University.
Hello. Okay. So, salam and good afternoon to all of you very nice people. We're Team BrainLock from Egypt, and we're really excited to introduce to you all our revolutionary authentication system. So since the dawn of time, human civilization have aspired to protect its personal belongings like treasures and manuscripts hidden in tombs in the pyramids, for instance, all the way towards modern civilization where we have all our personal data at our fingertips in our mobile devices, for instance, and all our belongings at our homes or offices. And we really need to protect these things. So in order to demonstrate to you all the various security methodologies that exist in the market today, we've compiled a small video that we hope you like. So. Okay, so here is where we come in with BrainLock, where we're introducing a biometric based on your brain signals that completely overcomes the disadvantages of security systems that exist in the market today. And one of the primary questions that we get asked is, are brain signals truly unique, right? And we have multiple research done from top conferences around the globe that back this up, together with our testing and thorough testing and experimentation that also backs that up. So we have something going here. Now, at BrainLock, we understand our customers' needs. We know that they obviously want high security, and we want our disabled people to be able to use our product. But also, we need it to be unforgeable, and you can't really forget it, and you can't really forget your brain signals at home. They're always with you, so that's very convenient. And all of this at a reasonable cost, right? So now we want to demonstrate to you all our current working prototype of the state-of-the-art software that we built, and we'll do that through a video. So basically what you need is a headset that gathers your brain signal and transmits it to your computing device. And basically, the training is kind of like signing up on your favorite social media, right? So you add in some information. This is Gad, a volunteer from our university, and he's signing up. Signing up takes 50 seconds, so that's pretty convenient. And we have multiple users who can be added to the system, us, of course, and a lot of our friends and colleagues. So yeah. So this is an application that we developed. And okay. So multiple people do the same process, as you would expect. And then there comes the login phase where you say, okay, I myself am trying to enter as Ali, and the system says for 10 seconds, of course, the login takes 10 seconds currently. And so if I'm claiming to be myself, it will say, welcome, okay, you can come in. But if I'm trying to impersonate my friend Gad, it will tell me, you can't go in, sorry, you're trying to impersonate someone. So yeah. So kind of like what you would expect in an authentication system, right? So the current market share of biometrics is kind of like what is stated here in this pie chart. And what is its size? It's been growing so much the last few years, and it's expected to reach $16 billion by 2017 alone. That's pretty big for us, right? And we understand that when entering a market this big, there will be challenges, right? And one of the most exciting problems that we're really excited to tackle this upcoming year is, for instance, how do brain signals change if one of our users gets Alzheimer's, for instance, or does brain surgery? How will we tackle that? And we're really excited to get some data on that and work on it. So I hope you all agree with me that BrainLock is pretty superior to its competitors in the market, and all of this at a reasonable cost. we have something truly powerful here, right? And since we're selling software, we understand that intellectual property rights are very important for us. And we've accommodated for patenting our software in our business plan. Now, how will we enter this market? We decided at BrainLock to reach the users of electronic access control systems. These are devices like the ones in the pictures there, but of course, instead of the fingerprint or the iris, there will be an embedded headset in the system. These are used all over the place, in your office, at the hospital, at home. So they're very, very ubiquitous, right? And what we're aiming for is a business-to-business model. So we'll be partnering with access control manufacturers, kind of like SecuGen, which offers biometric solutions, but also partner up with headset manufacturers that currently only target research people, right? But now we're opening them up to a whole new market. So it's a win-win-win for everybody. So that's really exciting. And we understand that some users can find like wearing a headset might not be so convenient, right? So we have all these innovative ideas to incorporate these electrodes that gather your brain signals in things like your glasses or the case of your phone, and a lot of other ideas as well. Okay, so our team is primarily engineered focused, right? We're all computer engineers, but with a huge diversity from within, which was very helpful for us in our development phase of our state-of-the-art software. But we understand that in order to continue, we need other core competencies, right? Kind of like a legal entity or marketing specialists. And we accounted for those as well in our business model. Okay, so let's see the roadmap for BrainLock these upcoming years. So in 2017, we'll further, like in 2016, these 2 quarters, and 2017, we'll further improve our software together with hire the required employees that we were talking about, and establish the partnerships with the headset manufacturers. And since we're in a business-to-business model, this is actually our first customer, so hooray, right? And this is an important part. We need to pass a biometric authentication test to prove that we really have something. And these are things that are offered by ID Technology or BEAT. And I know this is a lot, but we will also need to patent our software. This is very important for us. And we'll start off in Egypt and then move on to the United States and across the globe later on. So in 2018, we'll launch the BrainLock access control devices, and we'll continue to receive customer feedback and further improve our product, right? Now, 2019 is a very special year for us at BrainLock. Since the very beginning, we had a vision that we wanted not only to use brain signals to authenticate users, but also to control everything around us. This is pretty cool. And we realized that this is attainable. So what we will do is we'll provide a software development kit or an SDK for developers, and this will contain a black box for our authentication modules, but also black box for basic navigation like left and right and pressing buttons. And we'll be releasing this in 2020 for our developers, and we're really excited to see all the innovative ideas that they will do in gaming and finance and all sorts of applications. And that will open us to a whole new market of mobile users, right? This is huge, right? Okay. So now let's talk about the financials. So obviously 2017 will be all about spending, right? And we've estimated that we'll need around $70,000 US. That of course contains the fixed cost together with the variable costs. And of course, as the years progress, our costs will increase, but so will our revenue. And 2018 will be the first year, the turning point, where we actually gain positive net profit, right? And of course, 2020 will be the big boom where we release our SDK, and our penetration rate is expected to be 1.5%. Okay. So we realized that in making our business model, we made some assumptions, and there are some risks that could happen. So some of the assumptions is that we'll be establishing our corporation in Egypt. So some of the salaries will be much less than those in the United States, and that's a huge advantage for us to start in our home country, right? And as well, that since we'll be patenting our work, then we were assuming that we'll be the only people offering brain signal biometrics in the market. But one of the main risks that we're handling is that what if we don't pass the biometric test the next year? That's not a problem for us. We're pretty flexible. We'll work on more. We'll try to see where we went wrong, and then we'll take that again. So that might hinder the plan a bit, but we're putting that into consideration. So what is our exit strategy? It's called merger and acquisition. So we believe that since we have this revolutionary idea and state-of-the-art software, that some mega corporations might want to buy us out within the first couple of years. And if we find that this is economically favorable for us, then we will sell. But from where we stand here, I truly believe that we have some truly powerful potential. So we won't do that, but yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're giving you BrainLock, where your thoughts are your identity. Thank you very much.
Excellent presentation. Have you talked much to the end users of this to see if there's any kind of concerns? I mean, your fingerprint is one thing, your iris is another thing, but starting to look at people's brains and the way their brains works can have some potential negative reactions from people. Have you talked to many end users and gotten their reaction to this?
Well, we talked to a lot of students in our campus together with a number of our families and professors, right? And basically, since this is a non-invasive process and it offers more security, and for instance, in fingerprints, I could actually like force you at gunpoint to open your phone, but with this, I can't really force you to think that that third and thought process that is your password. So this adds more security for you. It's fun, and as well, it's non-invasive. So it's a win-win for the user. And plus, we're keeping all this data encrypted, so we're not really looking at your brain signals or analyzing them or anything. So yeah. Other questions?
Yes, just for my understanding, how is your technology, without revealing the secret sauce, of course, how is your technology different or perhaps more reliable than SPECT imaging?
Then what?
SPECT imaging.
What's SPECT imaging?
Single photon emission computed tomography.
I don't know what that is.
Okay. It's used by people like the Mayo Clinic, Dr. Amen, for analyzing different variations in brain activity, dependent on mood or dependent on actual diseases. Yeah. And it's actually very much accepted technology in the States. And I just want to make sure that I understand the difference between SPECT and what you are trying to do.
So they are doing, I don't know, they're
brain scans,
yeah.
Right, at different phases of your life. So, for example, with American football players, the reason they were able to analyze the brains and identify brain damage is because they used SPECT imagery, and I'm just trying to understand, what are you measuring? What are you measuring with your device?
Okay, so if I understand the question correctly, and correct me if I'm not, yeah, but basically what we're doing is we're finding distinctive features across the population for your brain signals depending on the activity that is your password, right? So I don't know what exactly they're doing, but we're also analyzing the brain signals. We're analyzing.
The brain signals are used for many other applications. This can be an example for the application to analyze them for the sportsman, something like this. But we are using it in another application that that discriminate between the users and identify them. So when I log in, this is my password. This is like my brain print instead of my fingerprint.
Except my brain print changes based on my mood and based on external and internal.
Yeah,
and that's how we accommodate for.
How many images do you have to take in order for me to be able to open my whatever laptop when I'm happy, when I'm not happy, when I'm crying, because it changes?
Yeah.
In our experiments, we have tested our system for 30 users across 4 different days. We gather data
and
in 4 different days, in different modes and
like
different places.
So 5 months.
Yeah.
Can you say that again?
We have gathered our data set and made our experiments on 30 users. Each of them made this experiment on different days across a duration of 5 months. So they were in different places, different modes, different.
And they still could only.
Yeah, and say yeah, yeah.
So when you take these images, you're storing effectively a digital footprint of the brain signals. Is that correct?
No, not
No.
really. Well, we're actually processing it, and we're storing certain features that we extract. So we're not actually storing the raw data. We're transforming it and doing some processing. This is the magic, you know, and we're storing that.
Okay, so you have a database of what you are storing out there. Is that correct?
Encrypted. Yeah.
All right, and it's encrypted. So that gets to the heart of my question: is how do you assure that somebody can't hack in and take brain signals out, and whether there's an ability to match that up in any way?
Well, I think like computer science in general have already secured how you secure your database or how you encrypt this data. So as long as I have the private key or whatever, you can get the data, but it's encrypted. You won't really do much with it. Yeah. So this is an already solved problem in computer engineering in general, how to secure your data. Like this is things that Amazon, Google, all these big corporations have already handled. So it's kind of standard. Yeah.
And somebody couldn't hack it and alter it in some way from the outside.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm missing something.
Yeah. Cool.
So it takes me 2 seconds to log into my computer, right?
Yeah.
And if I use a retina scan, it's very quick and easy.
Yeah.
If I put my fingerprint on something, I mean, what there was a slide that showed all the competitive
Yeah.
applications and technologies.
Yeah.
But you went through it pretty quickly. I didn't see it. Maybe you could
Yeah,
just
sure.
put that up.
Yeah.
And also just talk to us about, is this less expensive? Is this more user-friendly?
Exactly.
Is it
These-
more encryptable?
Yeah,
What is
exactly. These are very important questions, really. Okay, so let's first talk about the first point where logging takes a lot of time. So at the start of this year, we were actually 60 seconds for login. We needed that much data. And we've managed to decrease it before we came here, to around 10 seconds. And so we're more focused on security than improving our algorithm's speed, you know? So we're pretty confident that we can make it reach less and less time from an engineering point of view. So that's concerning, what?
And this is what we will do in the first year.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're not releasing it now with 10 seconds. We're actually going to improve that drastically. So yeah, let's go to that slide. Yeah, this is one.
Yeah. So, okay, so you've got used by the disabled, interactive, cost, forged, forgotten or stolen, and secure. So, did you talk about who the target customers are? I mean, is it like government, military?
We're first targeting the electronic access control devices, and these already have their market. So we're not burdening ourselves with those. And also, we don't want to target the mobile users at the very start, because I won't want to buy a headset just to authenticate myself, right? But I will buy something off the shelf that I used to do before, but that's telling me that it's more innovative and it costs less, as we'll show in a second after this, and is more secure, right? So it has all these advantages. So considering the cost point, what? How do we go there faster? So costs. Oops. Well, can you get it for us? So concerning the costs, we've estimated that all our cost is basically in these electrodes, and we've estimated the cost of them to be around $15, and the current fingerprint costs $45. So this is like $30 off, right? So what we're primarily aiming for is that the user gets kind of $10 off, so he's paying less. The corporation that already manufactures it gets $10 off, and we get $10. So we're gaining off this extra beneficiary profit that we're making. So hence what I said, win-win-win, right? So did that answer your question or questions?
Yeah, I mean, I think your market is not me and a laptop. Your market is an access control company.
Yeah,
that is
but then if by 2020 you actually find that you can actually control your laptop with your brain signals, that's kind of better than the multi-touch, right? that Steve Jobs entered like a couple of years ago. This is more intimate. And so if we can perfect that, that would enable us to reach the mobile users, right? And that's a huge market. So yeah.
I think my question was along the same lines.
Okay, cool.
As you were giving your presentation, I'm imagining myself having to stop and put on a headset
Yeah.
every time I'm trying to get into one of my devices.
Yeah.
And my fingers with me, my eyes are with me. I don't see myself carrying around that headset.
Yeah.
So who exactly is the first customer you're targeting to
As
sell
a-
this to?
Okay, so as I said, it's the electronic access control devices. These are things that you find near the door of facilities and stuff like that. And we can basically, like, since you put your finger like this, we can put a built-in headset within the door that you can, like, put your brain, like, you put your head and that authenticates you. No, don't put your brain, yeah. Yeah, okay. But also for considering when we enter like the mobile users, if we can put that in the glasses or in the back of your cell phone, for instance, you can do something like this. This will be pretty convenient, and we'll be talking with the headset manufacturers about all the innovative ideas that they can come up with as well. So yeah, so we're really excited about that. Yeah.
So, like when for example, I used the fingerprint on my cell phone, to open up. But are you picturing like maybe the iPhone 16, just
Exactly.
kind of doing one of these?
Well, yeah. Well, we have like a lot of examples, like wearables, like kind of like the Apple Watch, that because Apple was that big, it could introduce that didn't really add much value to the iPhone because you always had it to have it with you. But then it opened it for developers to add all these cool applications that you can do it. And now you find everyone wearing a smart watch, right? So is Google Glass, for instance. If you're wearing Google Glass and you have these electrodes added in, so you already bought a Google Glass, and so you won't really mind an electrode that is like this or something that enables you to not even like press a button or anything.
So I guess in your tests, and you've done some limited testing so far, have you got any false positives where it said
It takes multiple times, for instance, for you to enter. Does that mean?
Well, I'm curious. I mean, how accurate has your test been so far?
Well, they've been pretty accurate, and we're capable of decreasing what if a technical term is false acceptance. We can like shrink that to zero, but at the cost of false rejection. Right, where you can, or you might have to do that to enter multiple times, and this is acceptable at first. Like the first generation of iTouch that is in your iPhones, that took us like multiple times, and it just tells you try again, and yet it was acceptable by the users. So this is further development and software development that we're willing to undertake. So yeah.
Yeah. So for some questions from the audience. Brain signals can be synthetically regenerated. How will you protect? I'm not sure I believe that, but
how would you synthetically? I don't think I understand.
I don't know.
In other words, it seems like someone may try to think of something that.
Well, that's different. So if you're thinking of the beach, for instance, I'm thinking of a very different beach. I may be fixating on the sand. You may be fixating on surfing, something like that. So
if you knew my password and you think the same
Thought?
thoughts that I have,
path thought.
the signals are different.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
signals itself are different from person to another.
Yeah.
And then someone does say it's intrusive. I mean, so what is really the
No, that's not. It's not intrusive completely. Like intrusive electrodes, you actually have to do surgery and plant it some way, penetrate the skin. So this is like a dry electrode that simply touches your skin. So it's not invasive at all.
But like the biometric companies that are out there, like with the fingerprints
Yeah.
or the eyes, I mean, are they already working on something like this? And did they see an advantage to the brain versus like the fingerprint or the?
Well, what we think at BrainLock is that we took the road less traveled by. So people are not looking at this for some reason, and we've been working on this for quite a long time now, and we've managed to solve a lot of difficult problems. So that gives us the advantage. So hooray for us, you know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.